She said I was paranoid, that I was making things up in my head, that I needed to trust her more. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I hit record, and what I heard changed everything. My name's Ryan. I'm 35. Live in a small town outside of Austin, Texas, and I work in commercial HVAC. Not glamorous, but steady. I keep buildings cool when it's 100 degrees outside and freezing when it dips to 40. That's the rhythm of my life. Steady, functional, reliable. I've always been a practical guy. Do meal prep on Sundays. Rotate my tires before the light comes on. I'm the guy people call when their smoke detector won't stop beeping. I don't chase drama. I don't snoop. I've always believed that trust is something you give once until it's taken away. Her name was Elise. We met at a crawfish boil. She was friends with my coworker's wife and had this magnetic laugh, full and unapologetic. Like she wasn't afraid of being loud in a world that asks women to shrink. She was wearing cut-off jeans and had her hair tied up with a bandana. It's not trying to impress anyone, but she had this way of making everyone notice her. We hit it off instantly. She said she liked how quiet I was, that I felt safe to her. We exchanged numbers over paper towels and hot sauce. Fast forward 6 years, we were living together in a 2-bedroom rental with an espresso machine we barely used and a cat named Kevin who thought he ran the place. Our life wasn't perfect, but it was ours. Sundays were for pancakes and house slippers. Thursdays were grocery night. We binged every season of The Good Place and made Spotify playlists for road trips. It's always ending with Fleetwood Mac's Landslide. And I loved her. It really did. But then the tone shifted. It started subtle. She began guarding her phone like it was sacred, face down on the table. Notifications silenced. She used to read me funny bims or TikToks she liked, but now she'd barely opened apps in front of me. I asked once, casually, who keeps blowing up your phone after midnight? She laughed, brushing it off. Just Amber. She's going through it again with Tyler. I didn't push. I've never liked being the jealous guy. That wasn't me. But the next day, I caught a glimpse of a name on her lock screen. Zach. I didn't know any Zach, and it definitely wasn't Amber. Still, I said nothing. It was her cousin. Maybe it was work. But the gut feeling started whispering. You know that low, anxious static in your brain that says something's off? Yeah, it was there. All the time. One night, she came home late. Said her team went out after work. She smelled like cologne that wasn't mine. I didn't say anything. I just hugged her a little longer and tried to memorize the scent. When I asked her the next day what restaurant they went to, she blinked. Just for a split second. But that hesitation was louder than any answer she gave. Still, I didn't accuse her. I told myself I was overthinking it, that I was being paranoid. Until one night we were sitting on the couch and I asked her if we were okay. She was happy. If there was anything I needed to know, she didn't even look up from her phone. Ryan, she said, flat and tired, you really need to stop overanalyzing everything. You're just being paranoid. That word again, paranoid. She said it like it was a diagnosis. Like my concern was some kind of character flaw. That night I couldn't sleep. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling. It's wondering when I stopped being enough, and that's when I made the decision. I bought a $29 voice recorder from Amazon. Small, black, easily hidden. I charged it up, slid it under the couch cushions where we always sat and talked, and hit record before I left for work the next day. I didn't know what I expected, but I knew I had to hear the truth for myself even if it broke me. The next evening, I came home and acted normal. Elise was in her usual spot on the couch, laptop on her knees, scrolling through Pinterest boards about minimalist home decor and vegan sheet pan dinners we'd never actually make. She looked up, smiled, and said, "Hey, babe," like nothing was off. I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her so badly, but I couldn't forget that little recorder tucked under the cushion, capturing every word. I waited until she went to bed before I retrieved it. My hands were shaking, not out of fear, but out of something deeper. Like I was standing at the edge of a cliff and already knew I'd fall. I plugged it into my laptop and sat there listening with noise-canceling headphones. In the dark, she snored softly in the bedroom. It was mostly quiet. Background TV noise. Kevin, me. And then 23 minutes in, I heard her voice. She was on the phone. I turned up the volume. Her tone changed. Softer, almost flirtatious. Not the way she talked to me. She said, yeah, he still doesn't suspect anything. He's too... safe, you know? She laughed. That same laugh I fell in love with. Then silence. Male voice replied low, muffled, but clear enough to make out. So we good for Friday? She answered without hesitation. Yeah, he thinks I'm going to a girls' night again. He never questions it. Something in me cracked. Not loud, not dramatic, just ... cracked. The next morning, I didn't confront her. I didn't yell or slam doors. I made coffee, folded her laundry. I kissed her forehead on her way out the door and said, have fun at girls' night. But inside, I was unraveling. From that day on, I started paying closer attention. Her phone never left her side. She'd take it into the bathroom even in the shower. She changed her lock code. Again, she had a new playlist on Spotify called Late Drive Vibes that I'd never heard of before. I clicked on it when she left. Her phone unattended for 8 seconds. Every song screamed nostalgia and longing lyrics. It's about stolen nights and guilty pleasure. Then there was Zach. I searched her phone bill online. Zach's number appeared over 40 times in a week. Late night calls. Some lasting over an hour. I asked her once very calmly, hey, who's Zach?
Oh.
She blinked. Again, just like before. He's from work, new hire, we're training him. Right, still, I didn't press. She had mastered the art of flipping things back on me. Anytime I questioned anything, it was why don't you trust me, or you're making this weird. She even said I was becoming obsessive, that I needed to work on my own insecurities. Gaslighting. Didn't even realize it at first. I thought maybe I was insecure, maybe I was broken. But deep down, I knew the truth. Our instincts weren't. Paranoia. They were survival alarms. So I bought a second recorder. This time, I put it under the passenger seat of her car. I knew it was risky. But I had to know what was happening when I wasn't around. 3 days later, I retrieved the recorder and scrubbed. Through the static, more quiet moments. An old Taylor Swift CD she apparently still played. Muffled Traffic. Keys Jingling. Then him, Zach. She picked him up. They talked like they'd known each other for years. She asked how his day was. He said something about dodging a meeting to see her, and then she said it casually. Cruelly, like it meant nothing. If Ryan ever finds out, I'll just tell him he's being paranoid again. It's worked so far. They both laughed. My stomach flipped. I had to pause the recording. My hands were sweating. There it was. Proof. Confirmation. Not just of the affair, but of the manipulation. She was using my trust against me. Weaponizing it. I sat there for hours replaying that moment, wondering when exactly our relationship had died. Wondering if it was ever even real. The hardest part. She still looked at me every day with that same soft smile. She still reached for my hand on the couch. She still said, I love you before bed. Like she wasn't tearing me apart from the inside out. But I didn't say a word. Not yet. I was done questioning myself now. I needed a plan. I don't know if you've ever experienced the kind of betrayal that makes the world tilt on its axis, but it does something to you. You go cold, clear, focused. You stop asking why and start thinking how. How do I walk away without crumbling? How do I end this with dignity? How do I make her feel the weight of what she did? I didn't want revenge, not the kind you see in movies. I didn't want to scream or throw her stuff out the window. I wanted something quieter, something she couldn't twist into anger or bitterness. I wanted her to sit in silence and realize I knew, so I started preparing. I pulled all. The recordings, trimmed them down, cleaned the audio. I saved them in a cloud folder labeled taxes. She'd never open that. I backed up every text, every call log, every bank statement showing her little solo getaways that matched up with Zach's hotel charges. I wasn't just building a case. I was building closure. Then I called my friend, Malik. He owns a small AV setup and sometimes helps me troubleshoot HVAC security systems. I asked him to help me wire a mic into our living room speaker. Why? He asked. Because she lies better when she thinks no one's listening. That Friday, Elise got ready for another girls' night. She wore the red blouse I bought her for our anniversary. The one she used to wear when we'd go to live jazz shows downtown. It used to make her eyes glow. Now it made me nauseous. "Have fun," I said, like always. She kissed my cheek. It smelled like bergamot and guilt, and left. I waited 10 minutes, then drove 2 blocks down, parked, sat in silence, watched. Sure enough, Zach pulled up in his Tesla. She got in like it was routine. It's like it was the routine, and I recorded that. Too, but that's not the part that broke me. The part that broke me came 3 days later. I'd scheduled a dinner her favorite Thai place. Candlelight, soft music. She thought I was trying to rekindle something. I was finally being less distant. I let her believe it. She sat across from me, sipping her Pinot, cheeks flushed, talking about plans for spring. "We should go back to Asheville," she said, smiling like nothing had changed. "That little cabin with the fire pit and the board games." I nodded. I was thinking the same thing. She looked so comfortable, so safe. And that's when I told her. I leaned in, voice calm. "Elise, I know about Zach." She blinked. Just once. The blink again. Then she laughed. "Ryan, seriously? Again with this? You're being—" I cut her off. "Don't say it." Her lips parted. "Don't say I'm paranoid." The silence between us stretched like elastic. She tilted her head, trying to find an angle. "Where's this coming from?" I pulled out my phone and pressed play. The audio filled the space between us. Her voice, Zach's voice. The line, "If Ryan ever finds out, I'll just tell him he's being paranoid again." Her fork clinked against the plate. I let it play. Another 10 seconds, then stopped. "You recorded me?" she whispered. "Yeah," I said quietly, "because you stopped telling me the truth." She reached for my hand, but I pulled it back. "I booked you a hotel downtown," I said. "It's paid for through the weekend. Your stuff is already there." "What?" "I packed what you'd need. Everything else you can grab when I'm not home." Her eyes filled with something shock, maybe shame, I don't know. It was the first honest emotion I'd seen on her face in weeks. I never meant for it to stop. I stood up, dropped the key fob to the apartment on the table. "Can tell whoever you want, whatever you want. But I know what happened. And I'm done letting you tell me how to feel about it." I walked out. Left her at the table with her Pinot and her lies and the sound of her own voice echoing back from the recorder. But the real twist. I sent the audio to myself from a burner email and blind copied it to her work email. Just the part where she talked about training the new hire after hours. Not out of malice, just ... transparency. She quit 2 days later, the first few. Nights were quiet, too quiet. No footsteps shuffling down the hall. No Kevin jumping onto the bed to curl against her back. No morning hums as she made her almond milk lattes with too much cinnamon. It's just me, silence, and the hollow ache of reality. Settling in, I slept on one side of the bed for a week out of habit, not choice. The other half stayed untouched, cold, a silent monument to what we used to be. She didn't call right away, didn't text. I think she was still trying to figure out whether to play victim or confess, probably polling her friends on which angle would get her more sympathy. By day 4, she broke the silence. "Ryan, I messed up. I wasn't happy. Didn't know how to talk to you about it. I didn't know how to stop it." I didn't reply. She sent a longer message the next day. Apologies, explanations. Even a picture of Kevin lying in her suitcase like that would stir something in me. It stirred something, all right, but not for her. I missed the cat, not the woman who used to sleep beside me. The week after, I filed to terminate our joint lease. Called the landlord, explained the situation. They'd heard worse. Thankfully, I'd already signed a short-term lease on a new place, a quiet 1-bedroom above a bookstore a few towns over. My coworker's cousin needed a quick sublet. The timing lined up perfectly. When I told Elise, her response was almost comical. "Wait, so you're just leaving? Like walking away?" "You did?" I texted back, no reply. She tried again the following weekend, said she wanted to talk like adults, to find closure. But the truth is, I didn't need closure from her. I got mine the moment I heard her say my name like it was something to pity. I didn't need to unpack her reasoning. I didn't care about how it started with Zach or whether it had ended. I only cared about the fact that the person I trusted most used that trust like a smokescreen. She got fired from her job 2 weeks later. Whether it was because of the audio or the HR whispers that followed, I don't know. I didn't ask. She posted something vague and self-pitying on Instagram. New chapters begin when old lies are exposed. Cute, her friends? The real ones stayed away. A couple of them messaged me, quietly admitting they suspected something was up. One even apologized for not saying anything. And Zach, he had a girlfriend. Yeah, that came out in a twist I didn't see coming. She messaged me Zach's girlfriend, or ex rather. She'd gotten the recording too, from a mutual friend who Elise used to confide in. I never meant to hurt anyone else in this, but apparently Elise wasn't the only one pretending. We ended up meeting for coffee, not out of romance or revenge, just to talk. To people standing on opposite sides of the same wreckage, comparing the shrapnel, her name was Jenna. She was kind, sharp, the kind of person who made you feel like you weren't insane for hurting. We only talked once. That was enough. Sometimes closure comes not from the person who broke you, but from the person who saw it happen and didn't flinch. As for Elise, she moved out of state, I heard. California. New job. New haircut. Same patterns, probably. I blocked her on everything. Out of anger. Just boundaries. The last message she ever sent me was short. I wish you'd just trusted me. I laughed when I read it, not because it was funny, but because even in the end, she still didn't get it. It wasn't that I didn't trust her. It was that she buried the truth under the very words she used to shame me with paranoia. It's been 7 months now. Some mornings I still wake up and half expect to hear the clink of her spoon in the cereal bowl or the hum of her curling iron from the bathroom. Then the silence hits and I remember she's not here. That's not a loss anymore. It's peace. I've stopped blaming myself. That took time. Because when someone cheats on you in a way that makes you feel like the crazy one, you start second-guessing every instinct you've ever had, every pause in a sentence, every gut feeling you once ignored. But I'm not crazy. I'm not paranoid. I was just being gaslit by someone who didn't have the courage to be honest. I go to therapy now once a week, not because I'm broken, but because I refuse to carry emotional debt into my next chapter. We talk about trust, about boundaries, about how to forgive without forgetting. Sometimes I still think about the little things, the playlists we made. The bar in Asheville, where she pretended to love bourbon. The time she got emotional over a Pixar movie and cried into my hoodie sleeve. But memories are funny like that. They soften the sharp edges until you're only left with the echo, not the pain. People ask if I'd ever take her back, or if I'd ever confront her again. And the answer is no. Not because I hate her, but because she taught me something I can't unlearn. When someone shows you who they really are, don't argue with it, don't rationalize, don't hope for potential. Just listen, believe them, and walk. Now I journal. I meditate. I've picked up woodworking on weekends. There's something healing about building, something real with your hands after being torn apart by lies. And I've started dating again, slowly, carefully. I'm not rushing into anything, but I smile more now. I laugh without wondering if someone's phone is buzzing under the table. Turns out, the best revenge isn't catching someone red-handed. It's moving on without bitterness. It's building a life so peaceful, their chaos can't touch it anymore. She said I was paranoid, but really I was just paying attention, and I hit record. So I could finally hear the truth without her filter. She got the lies. I got clarity, and man, that's worth more than any apology she'll never give. If you enjoyed my story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more real-life stories like this.